my name is Nwadire and I am the creative director of DNA by Iconic and Vanity. I started this diffusion line when I was 16 years old in 2015, and today I'm taking you through how I get my ideas from the Sketchpad to the runway. So the first thing is my inspiration. It's very expected of a young designer like myself to just take into consideration trends alone from the fashion industry, but I also like to take my, where I'm living, sort of everything around me, my music, my art, because I'm very creative in that kind of department, into consideration as well. For example, in the previous collection from the SS18, I found my inspiration from when I was walking to class, actually. There was this big billboard and it was just full of these primary colours just patched together in some really cool pattern, and I just thought that would look really nice on a dress with maybe some beading or like in a nice silhouette and things like that. So that's where it all started. And then secondly, getting it onto paper. I've recently moved away from the traditional methods of just drawing on pen and paper, because obviously if you draw something somewhere, you have to take it with you everywhere. And nowadays we're living in a tech sort of world, so I've started using the iPad, and there's an app called Procreate where I draw things, and it's very helpful because I can take it everywhere. I can use it on my phone. Whenever I find sort of inspiration, I can take pictures and I can store it on that sort of platform and stuff, so that's very helpful. Thirdly, how do I know which ones are going to make it to the runway and which ones are just going to stay in my Sketchpad? I have a very good design team back here where we communicate daily about, okay, so I found this, will this work? With the previous collections that have, some of the pieces that have sold well, will the clients that we are trying to reach, will they sort of buy these sort of things? That's kind of how that works out. And sometimes some things that I really like don't get to make it there, as a whole, but elements from maybe one piece can be put onto another piece, so it all works out in the end. So it's a very good team that I have here. Fourthly, fabric search and beading and all the materials that we use. I source my fabrics locally from here in Nigeria, but I tend to get my beads and sort of finishings from abroad in the UK. We do have our suppliers and the people that we usually go to that we've had for many years now, that have worked with my mom's brand and stuff, so we just continue that relationship, and it's been quite good so far. Step number 5 is production, obviously. So when everything is finalized and approved from my design team, we communicate with the tailors and the beaders here to produce, all the pieces for the next collection, or if there's an order, that's what we, we make next. And it's some people will think it's quite difficult because obviously, when I'm in the UK and when I'm not really here, it can be hard to, miss certain things, but we do have a very secure team here that keep us updated all the time with photos and, video calls, and we're constantly on them to make sure that everything is coming out quite smoothly. So that's how the process runs. So how we get the perfect finish from our tailors here is that when we bring them in, we train them from scratch. So we give them pieces to try and work on with maybe Ankara material or plain material, and just get them to the type of quality that we want for our customers here. So sometimes it can take months to train them, but we try and keep them on job and keep them time-wise, we keep them, up to date and everything. So the final step after production is, getting it on the runway. And this can be a very hectic process, it can, but it's always a delight to see your stuff going from, the Sketchpad to the runway. And how we get it done is we get the models that are gonna wear the stuff, and we see which one kind of works best for each dress or each place or each co-ord, and whichever one works best, that's the one that it will stay with. We make sure that everything fits well. If we make something here in sample size and maybe we get there and she has maybe a bigger bust or she has a smaller waist, we do everything beforehand, we give ourselves some time so that we don't, leave it the day before and then everything is quite, you know, hectic kind of thing. So we get them to fit everything, and then we take the measurements, make everything fine, and finally on the day they wear the stuff, and then, you know, they go out and come out at the end, and everything is just really nice.